is our.
Hey, so, yeah. The only other thing I wanted to talk about is, are you guys going to be able to do your schedule for the leadership symposium? February.
So Aaron's here, Gary Hebel, I'm sure you know our state rep. So
Because I actually got some responsibilities for you guys. Pat, you're the first day, and Brian, you're the second day, 32nd. I have the second day leave.
cameras are at.
I want you guys to this is as far as take it easy, weekend in college. Generational speaker on generational workforce. I've yeah, it's going to be talked about.
So we have the first
Hey, Roger, yeah, yeah.
Hi, buddy. How are you? Yeah, exactly. Good to see you. No, unintentional. But the fact that you even put it to his badge and it's
Yeah, everybody thought we weren't married together 6 years, so it's about time I did something for the lady. Yeah, it's about all of us, you know. And I'll be honest with you,
Not putting a picture in the newspaper where we get spelled paramedic.
Fair enough.
would you quit?
okay. I know that guy's like absolutely.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm not that mean.
Hey, Brian. Very spelled wrong.
Line up again.
Yeah. Yeah. Just make sure Adam's up front with you guys and mix up police and fire. Yeah, they're small. And EMS.
Chief? We have two chiefs.
Chief, how you doing?
And this is also
How you
Chief
doing?
via VMS.
Oh, good to see you. We did 3 events yesterday with
Behind you
EMS,
is the
around
police chief.
So,
So,
thank you for coming.
Chief Garrison is going to speak after you.
Wonderful.
I'm not very tall.
Well, I mean, it's short for me.
I'll make up for all of you.
Yeah, you're tall.
Yeah, I'm tall and I'll.
What are you, 6'4"?
6'2". I used to be
Then
tall.
I'm 5'10" now.
All right. Are we ready to go? All right, we are going to begin. So if you would gather around, if you can hear me, we are going to begin. So, all right, we are ready to start. So, good afternoon. I'm Paul Esser. I'm the mayor of the city of Sun Prairie. I want to welcome you to the reopening celebration of Highway 19. It's our privilege to have you here with us today. In my brief comments, I want to touch on 3 items. Will we forget? Is it okay for us to be moving on? And then finally, I have some thank yous that I want to share for the people that have made this day possible. On July 10th of this year, a little after 7 p.m., there was an explosion at this site right behind us that resulted in the death of firefighter Corey Barr and injuries to 3 other emergency service personnel. The subsequent fire destroyed 5 buildings on either side of us here. The heat from that fire was so great that it destroyed the pavement at this intersection, requiring the road to be rebuilt. It is the reopening of this highway that brings us here today, although it'll still be a few more days before the road is ready for traffic. So let me ask you this question. Are we going to forget what happened here on July 10th? Frequently, I hear people say that we don't remember the events of September 11th with the same fervor that we had. And they're concerned that over time we'll also forget about what happened here on that day in July. But I don't agree. Certainly we may not remember it with the same intensity that we do today, but there will be a memorial for Corey Barr at the fire station that's just across the way. There will be a marker on the building that gets built at the corner, right at the corner behind us, where Corey died and the place where Corey and Abby had their business. And there'll be at least one more memorial. So will we forget? No. I think that what happened here on the evening of July 10th will remain with this community, and we will never forget what happened to Corey on that day in July and what he was doing for us. We won't forget. So let me ask you this. Is it okay for us to be moving on? After all, we lost a firefighter that day. And here's what I would say. The reopening of this highway is good for this community. It shows we aren't allowing the horrific events from July 10th to define this community. What we are doing today celebrates the resiliency of this community. It says that we're able to pull together and look out for each other. But as we celebrate, we should not forget what was left behind on the evening of July 10th. Firefighter Captain Corey Barr died that evening from injuries he suffered while protecting this community. Corey believed in the welfare of this community. He served this community because he knew that somebody needed to do that. He didn't want to die that day, but if that was what was required, he was prepared. As we gather here today, I believe Corey would want us to celebrate the moving on because it's the right thing for this community. So the ability for us to move on is Corey's gift to us, and it is right that we should celebrate. But his gift did not come without a cost. His wife Abby, his 2 daughters, his parents and family, His friends and his fellow firefighters will forever miss him. It is our job as we move on to support them. Abby and the girls are our responsibility, and we need to watch out for them. It's okay for us to move ahead today, but we want to and we need to keep them firmly in our hearts. So finally, I want to say some thank yous. The explosion and fire at this intersection destroyed the highway, requiring that it be rebuilt. The rebuilding was a complex task, but it was done in just 4 months. That is an amazing response by any measure. We are able to be here today because Governor Walker made the commitment that the highway would get done. He told me that on the day after the explosion, and he told me that again when he was here the following weekend for Corey's funeral. And the governor has been as good as his word. I want to publicly acknowledge what Governor Walker has done for Sun Prairie, and I want to thank him on behalf of the entire Sun Prairie community. Thank you, Governor. I also want to thank the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Secretary, David Ross, who is with us this evening or afternoon, and the entire WisDOT staff. The governor made the commitment, but it's the WisDOT organization, the people that work for WisDOT, that made this happen. They did the work, and I appreciate what they've done. I also want to express thank yous to the owners of the 2 buildings on the east side of the intersection. Before the work could begin on the rebuilding of the highway, the owners of these buildings had to agree to allow us to begin. In the event that there was damage on their building, they held us harmless. And I want them to know how much I appreciate what they've done. I want to express thank yous to the contractors and the employees that worked on this intersection. They did not begin the work until September 1st, 2.5 months ago, and they have worked continuously on this regardless of the weather. That's amazing as well, and I appreciate what they've done. And then I want to acknowledge and express my appreciation to our city staff. They're too numerous to mention by name, but I appreciate, and I know the city council appreciates, what they have done in making this possible. It's our administrative people, our engineering, public works, building inspection, utility staff, the police, fire, and EMS, and others that have all contributed to making this happen. I want to thank you, city staff members, on behalf of the city council and myself. We appreciate so much of what you do for us. So that concludes my comments, but I want to tell you there are going to be 2 other speakers, and then when they are finished, we're going to have cake. And now I need to find Philip if we're still on. Is that still on, Philip? Yeah, they're going to do a ribbon cutting, and then we're going to do cake in our public utility building that is right behind you. So make sure you're prepared for that. So I want to thank you for being here, and now I want to introduce the Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, David Ross. Mr. Ross?
There's a lot of thanks that go around on a massive project like this, and a lot of folks that stepped up in an incredible way. But I first want to acknowledge, we spent yesterday around the state holding press conferences honoring our first responders, the folks that go into all kinds of very dangerous situations on our roads and highways throughout the state of Wisconsin. Our men in blue, men and women in blue and in brown, our firefighters, our first responders, our ambulance, our tow truck operators, they're the ones that arrive in situations like this first and respond in an incredible way, helping people in all kinds of ways in order for them to get through some of the things that happen in their lives. I want to also thank the city of Sun Prairie. It's incredible how they stepped up, and they worked with Wisconsin Department of Transportation to get this project done in record time. I want to thank our staff, DOT folks. Raise your hand that are here. There you go.
Carla.
Come on, Carla. What? You can raise it farther. There you go. There you go. Working with, when we put Carla on this project, Dave Veith is here with us, they stepped up and did something that was just incredible. And they've been doing this, by the way, all over the state with the flooding that has been occurring, replacing bridges in record time, restoring roads, railroad infrastructure, etc. And in Sun Prairie here, they stepped up and did an incredible job. And I'm so proud of both of them over there and all the others that were involved in this project. And then finally, I just want to also thank Mayor Esser. He has been in contact and constantly following this situation and staying on top of everything that needed to be done as we've moved through this project. He's been there. He's been engaged. He has not dropped the ball in any manner whatsoever. And so I'm very proud of his leadership and what he has done for his own community. And then lastly, you know, our representatives, Gary Hebel over here, and who work in Madison and represent these areas and parts of our state, they take these kind of events, they take their home communities and they take it very personal. And they respond also in helping all of us get this project done. So thank you for letting me be here today. Incredible project. A few more days we'll have cars on this brand new street. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. The fire department is so connected to the events that brought all of this about that it's appropriate we should hear from the fire chief. So next is going to be Fire Chief Chris Garrison, the chief of the Sun Prairie Volunteer Fire Department. Chief.
Good afternoon, Sun Prairie. If there's one thing that I need to say to everybody out there, and I speak on behalf of Police Chief Pat Anhalt, EMS Chief Brian Goff, thank you. We were devastated 4 months ago. We came into a situation that was extremely difficult, and we did our best to get as many residents out of this area as we could. My people worked hard and feverishly, and so did police and EMS, to keep our residents safe. And that's our job. That's what we do. We understand that. And the great thing about this is Corey understood that. And that's what Corey stood for. What I really need to say to all of you is we run in and rescue you from all the difficult issues that you have. But this is a total change of events. You folks rescued us. We have an amazing staff of police, fire, and EMS standing behind you. We're able to accomplish the things we do because of the teamwork that we have. The power of the Sun Prairie Fire, Police, and EMS is due to the teamwork that we all support. The chiefs and I work hard to keep everybody together and everybody united. And we work together well, we like each other, and we love what we do. I want to tell you folks, we're back. We're back strong, and we're back here to take care of you. We are here for you. We are strong, and we will keep on serving the citizens of Sun Prairie forever. The last thing that I want to say is I want to reiterate the mayor's words. Never forget. Please never forget what happened on July 10th. I draw a lot of my strength from my personnel, from my staff, Abby and Corey's family. They've been absolutely amazing. The strength of Abby and what she's done for us in this community has been unbelievable because her husband risked his life and paid the ultimate sacrifice for the safety of our community. And she stood by strong, and it's been a rock for all of us. So I ask, please, we move on and we celebrate Corey's life. We're done mourning. We are done. But we will never forget the contributions of that man. And I can't leave this podium without thanking police, fire, and EMS personnel. Thank you.
So now we are ready, Philip Gritzmacher, a planner, transportation planner with the city, has helped us organize this, and he's got the ribbon and the scissors.
And where are my helpers?
All right. So am I going to do it? Should we get Secretary Ross in here? Dave, would you please join me? Let's do this together. So.
EMS is here.
We are. And with that, Philip, have we concluded out here?
Some pictures.
Going to do some pictures, but people are invited now to go to the building. I cannot see it. I'm looking right into the sun, but it's the building over here, the Sun Prairie Utilities building. And please go in there. There'll be cake in there and you can warm up. And again, I want to thank all of you for coming out here today. This is a special day in the life of Sun Prairie. 4 months ago, some tragic events occurred here, but it is time. We need to move on, and I'm so pleased that you joined us. Thank you. Thank you.